John Bayless, and we are going to be talking to him about his work and what's coming up and what he's been doing. But John is certainly a well-known concert pianist. He's very well-known in the Valley and well-known throughout the world. And to go over his whole resume and all of his experiences would take a very, very long time. But he has many CDs out. We're going to talk about that, too. John was born in West Texas in a little town called Borger. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that
That's right. Exactly.
But it's a small oil town 40 miles north of Amarillo. He started to play piano by ear at age 4. Can you believe that? His mother, who was a singer and musician, was his first teacher. And at 13, he was the youngest church organist in the state of Texas. When he was 15, he won a scholarship to the Aspen School of Music, where he studied with the legendary Adele Marcus. But at 17, there he was, off to New York City to attend the Julliard School of Music and further his studies. He worked with people later on in a master's degree program, the likes of Leonard Bernstein, Julie Stein, Betty Condon, and Adolph Green. We can go on and on and on about that, but I am here to, and John is here today to talk about what he's doing now and an evening that's coming up at the library, which we will talk about. So, John, let me welcome you here, first of all.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Good.
Great.
It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about how your life changed since you moved into the Valley. But I want to tell people about a wonderful evening coming up where you have been recognized and will be honored by the showing of a documentary about you and your work called A Work in Progress. And that's Joel Hochberg, our very famous local videographer, and you're going to be interviewed afterwards. There'll be a Q&A.
Joel will he'll talk to me on stage, and we'll
talk just a little louder.
He will interview me, ask questions, and we'll have questions and answers with the audience, and then I'll play.
And you're
I'm going to play. Oh, definitely.
Well, and we're all coming to hear that. And that's March 7th at 7 o'clock. It's admission is free. It's open to the public. It's the Rancho Mirage Public Library, Highway 111 in Rancho Mirage. Yeah. Now, John, you had this wonderful career for many, many, many years, and then you came to the Coachella Valley, and something happened at the exact time you were ready to buy a house.
We bought the house, and that night, in the middle of the night, after the house was, we were not in the house, but we had just purchased it, I had a stroke, and everything changed immediately. I mean, it was not the same anymore. Moving to a new place, not knowing anyone here, moving into a new house. It's like, God turned off the lights and then turned them on somewhere else, and it was not only a shock, but it just changed everything.
Well, yes, but you have
2.5 years ago, actually.
You've been such an inspiration. You will continue to be an inspiration, and you feel that you were fortunate being here in the Valley when that happened.
I'll tell you, I said, God was doing something by this act and or whatever. I just feel that the whole of the Coachella Valley, the people and the warmth and the embracing that we have received since we've been here has been just so healing, and it's been wonderful.
Well, and you were very grateful, you say, in the write-ups that I've received too, the work that was done with you through the Eisenhower Stroke Unit, because your treatment began within an hour of your stroke at Eisenhower for 3 days, and you regained your speech almost immediately as a result.
Right, and I was at Eisenhower, and then I went to Desert Regional, because they have a program at Desert Regional that is a rehab program.
Yes,
and there's
physical therapy, occupational therapy.
And interestingly enough, I was there, I think, 12 days or something. A very rigorous program, physical, occupational, and speech therapy every day. And the last day, the night before I left, and the night before I left the rehab, a lady came into my room, and she and her assistants, she said, "John, I'm going to work with you after you leave here." And I said, "Are you?" And I said, "You are?" She said, "Yes." She said, "I know you." I said, "How do you know me? We never met except now." And she said, "Well, I have your Puccini album, and it's been my favorite record for 6 years." And she said, "I know what the goal is." And I just started to cry. I couldn't control it.
It was meant to be.
It was like, yes, yeah.
Yes. And
Kay Folmar is her name, and she's
say again.
Kay Folmar, and
we
she's
have to thank Kay.
Yes, and she's gonna be at my house this afternoon, so I have to get ready.
And of course, you have to continue to work. You have to continue with your.
It's getting better
therapy.
too. I mean, it's.
Well, I have heard you play, and for those that are listening that have not heard John, he does have many albums out. We're going to have him name a few of those in a little while. But he is now playing with one hand. Not only that, but he is the resident composer with the Virginia Waring piano competition.
Right.
And there was a little fundraiser at Trio Restaurant. Not only did John play at that event, but he sang. I loved hearing you sing.
Oh, thank you very much, Jacqueline.
You have this very soft voice, and it came across, but it was so lovely and so emotional. I hope you're going to sing when you play at the Rancho Mirage Library.
Actually, now you mention it, I'll have to.
Oh, I think you'll have to.
Well, maybe
who
that'll
knows?
be great.
There's another career.
Well, I think, it comes out in different ways.
Well, let's talk about what you call the new normal, and I guess we all use that phrase when tragedy strikes in our lives because it's a strange phrase, but I think everyone understands what it means. That nothing is normal anymore. This is the new normal. But,
right.
What are you hoping to do from this point on?
Well, I mean, first of all, I just want to get stronger, and my right arm and my right hand is really, it's coming along. It's incredibly slow. I think one of the I know now, I can say it with some confidence, that this time is about composing, because before I was playing concerts all over the place, all over the world. I was doing around 40 concerts a year. I was in Japan and Europe and the United States, of course, but I didn't have the time to compose. And it's a whole different process. It's a whole different discipline. It's a whole different head, if you will. It takes solitude. It takes quiet time, and it's. I mean, when you're out playing in public, there's a public performance, a public persona, and it's totally not ego-driven, but it is. Well, there's a lot of ego in it. I mean, and composing is not. It's just another part of the soul, and to be honest with you, I've felt for many years that I wasn't honoring that part. I wasn't honoring that part enough, because I was out making a living. I'm out playing.
Very successful making a living.
And it was great. And when people want you, it's hard to turn them down. And
well, yes.
So anyway, the new norm is finding that place, and the whole idea of Joel's, I think, really wonderful documentary. It's called A Work in Progress. It's one of the things that came out in it was I felt I had lost my identity.
Oh, I understand that.
Yes, yeah. My identity was completely different. I mean, for instance, how it manifested itself later was when I met so many wonderful people here. I'd go to dinner parties and be social. Used to be I would come in the house of someone, and they had a piano, of course. Well, it was 5 minutes after dinner. I would sit down and play the piano, and I'd play Gershwin, I'd play Cole Porter, I'd play, my pieces.
And you were the center of attention again.
And now, no, forget it. It's a whole other ego. There's the ego again.
But John, you know how much you're loved. I mean, you know how much people appreciate you.
That's what is so extraordinary about this place. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I found out that I don't have to play the piano to make.
Yes, you do. You're going to play the piano at Rancho Mirage Library.
Yes, of course.
You'll be asked to play the piano with some of your new compositions, and you know that, and you'll love that too. But certainly, we all understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
it is for a star like yourself. Well, yes,
yeah, I know.
You are a star. You have all of these fabulous CDs that we want to talk about a little bit. But I certainly have a favorite one that I want to get, and that's the movie album.
The movie album.
But my goodness, how do people get your CDs?
Well,
you have a website,
I have a website, johnbayless.com, but also Amazon. Everything is on Amazon. Amazon is probably the most expedient way to get anything, because there's no more, the record companies are not, there's no stores.
We have doing it. No, that's right.
It's complete. I was talking to a colleague the other day. We were saying, how would we start a career now with no record labels really championing, a young person? I mean,
same things happening to the book industry and writers. I mean, they are disappearing. But you'll find, we all will find other ways. I do want to mention quickly too, again, about the fact you're a composer in residence and serve on the artistic committee of the Virginia Waring International Piano Competition, and I want to just mention the dates of that. That's going to take place March 27th to April 13th.
Third. I think it's just the third.
The third.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
Yes, I had a little ink mark in front of it. March 27th.
It's going to be
April
very
3rd.
Exciting.
Where's that going to be held?
It's going to be held at the
Indian Wells Theater at the university there?
Yes. They have them. I'm really not from, but the finals will be at the McCallum Theater when the kids play with orchestra. I mean, we listen to over 100 CDs from applicants from all over China, Asia, Korea, United States, Canada, and the talent and the level of talent of these young people. I mean, we're talking 8 to 19.
And you're involved in that selection process.
Yes, it's extraordinary.
And I'm going to be having Peggy Cravens on to talk more about that as well. But are you working on anything now as far as your composition work?
Well, I composed a piece for the competition. That all of the kids have to play, and the kids from 8 to 13, they're playing a piece. One of my Bach Beatles transcriptions, "A Hard Day's Night." They're going to play that in the style of Bach, and I thought it'd be really cute, to see young people playing this. It's really fun. And then the intermediates, I composed a piece for the left hand.
Oh, I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, I composed a piece for the left hand, and it's quite challenging. But there is literature written, piano music for the left hand. Ravel wrote a left hand concerto, and there are many pieces for not many, but there are many pieces for the left hand, and I'm going to certainly contribute to that
Well,
repertoire.
That's good. And when I was a little girl, I studied piano for a very short period of time, and I had to learn something with the left hand, and it was fun, difficult but fun. And John, we are out of time, and I'm
we
so
are?
Yes, we are.
We could do a series.
Oh, we could, and we will. And I want to mention again that you're going to be at the Rancho Mirage Library Monday, March 7th at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Come and see the film and hear John play. Thank you for being here, John.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. And we have to take a break right now. We'll be right back with the Jacqueline Bachar Show.